how are you?
I'm overwhelmed. How are you?
Good.
But I'm great.
So in him, there are a few different themes that are at play. You have body horror, like the brutality of football. You have sacrifice, both literal and figurative sacrifice. There's hero worship. How did you find a way to blend all of those elements together to make a horror film that feels both kind of surrealist in nature, but also incredibly grounded?
I mean, wow, thank you, first of all. And also thanks for seeing all those deeper meanings and subtext throughout the whole thing. It was a lot of work to try to balance all of the things at play.
Yeah.
I think that from the start, the things that ended up being the horror, ended up being the visual surrealism, those were all coming from a theme that I came and pitched Monkey Paw from the jump, which was I wanted to explore what happens when the athlete is the commodity and it's moved through institutions. So starting there as the implicit meaning that I was going for kind of unlocked a lot of the film's language. And because it was a sports horror mashup, there's this, in the Venn diagram, as long as I was making choices that were hitting all of those things at the same time, which took experimentation in development and even while we were shooting, was able to find the sweet spot because there were no real comps for this movie, which is why I loved it, because I couldn't point to something and be like, yeah, like that. It just really hadn't been done. And so it was pulling from different languages, both sports and drama and horror and surrealism, to create the unique tone.
Yeah, one of the things that I really enjoyed about it too was a lot of the symbolism you see there. So like if you think about the staples that are in Cam's head, they're similar to the stitches that you see on a football. There's a scene where he's sitting at a table and he's literally sitting at a Last Supper-like table and he's sitting in the middle. So with that symbolism, can you just talk a little bit more about the intentionality behind it and how you work with the cinematographer to bring that to life?
Yeah, and shout out Kira Kelly. She's incredible. I wanted to hone in on God, family, football. It's simple, but it's the sacred saying of American culture in a way.
Definitely Southern American culture.
And there's reasons it became Sunday night football. It's all intertwined in the country's history and the game's history, faith, family, football.
Yeah.
And I grew up Catholic, so I think subconsciously it comes into the work I do, but it really came from a place of there is a difference between support and worship in terms of fandom and wanting something and coveting something, pursuing a dream versus being obsessed with a dream. And so bringing in that symbolism, it felt like it was again speaking to the sports and horror and the religious undertones that fans have when rooting for their teams. And it can go a healthy way or a not unhealthy way, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. It's so interesting that you bring up the concept of like the history of America and everything too, because this film actually brings up something that I didn't know about. There's one scene where Isaiah is schooling Cam and he's telling him about the history of football, brings up the Carlisle Boys, which were a football team that were very dominant in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And a lot of the things that they were doing then were not even considered to be a part of football. And now they're a part of how we play football in the modern era. How did you uncover that information, and what about that specific part of football history felt like it fit into this film?
I did a lot of research when I got this movie. I had known about the beginnings of the sport being tied to military and Civil War vets coming back and thinking their sons weren't masculine enough and using war tactics to create this game, and it's embedded. But when I kept going, and I kept going farther back, that's when I was doing research and discovered, like, oh, wow, there is accurate historical facts that back up. The Carlisle Indian boys were undersized, and they had to come up with creative ways to try to beat the boys at Yale. And it pissed everyone off so much that they were just there were no rule books. And the NCAA's rules are all come from the same place. And the hardest part was getting all this information across in a minute.
Right.
versus like, man, I can go on and on about how this all came about. But like, you know, Pop Warner was a coach at the time, and now there's Pop Warner Leagues, but he was one of the coaches at Carlisle that perfected the spiral and forward pass with the Native American boys. And it felt like this film, in terms of taking on an institution or systemic haunting of people that just are going to use you for profit and move you through like a commodity, I would be remiss not to include that story and those voices and that perspective, because that's where it was coming from. So I wanted to go back to there to see this idea of how it's almost a warning, I think, in my mind when I was making that scene. He's telling him, you know, don't be a mascot, but also aware that he's within a paradigm and structure that is inescapable. So I think a lot of that also informs Marlon's performance, which is up and down and complex.
Yeah, you know, speaking of his performance, it straddles so many different lines, right? So it's kind of dark. There's that deep drama there. There's a little bit of kind of this haunting, like, comedy that he brings into it as well, which we all, you know, famously know him for. How much room did he really have on set to be able to play around with his character, maybe do some improvisation? Like, how much room did you allow him?
Oh, all the room he wanted. Part of the reason why I wanted him for the role was I just don't think he'd been given the opportunity to showcase his dramatic chops. And I knew that he could do the comedy and the improv. And I'm somebody who likes to improv while I'm on set.
Yeah.
So that was like a known. But I also knew that the way he works, and so what it started to become was that same kind of improv method. I would just let the cameras roll. But if it was a very dramatic scene, same rules apply. I wouldn't cut. I let him get there, get to a place, and then I would start throwing different things at him. And then he would start to go off, like just locked in, and then you just watch.
Very cool.
And things would come up, and some things, you know, weren't usable, but it got him into a place. And if it was just one or two beats, it was gold. And it was really just being, you know, in service to him and how his genius worked, and allowing him to do his thing.
So there's one specific scene at the very beginning where Cam throws a football lands upright, starts spinning, spinning and spinning, and that moment of distraction kind of sets up everything that we see in the film. Is that moment meant to be interpreted as like a bad miracle of sorts, or are you hoping that it will be a little bit more for open interpretation by fans?
I'm hoping it's an open interpretation. I guess that's another moment that's like very hard to calibrate tonally. But you're in the Monkey Paw universe, so it walks the line of this is just a bad miracle or something else is at play.
So, of course, we know that him is marrying football with horror. We know that the lines between what happens in a sports movie can be pretty similar to what happens in a scary movie. So I have a few quotes here that I'm going to read out to you, and I want you to tell me if they're from a sports film or from a horror film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Ready? I want to hurt him, not kill him.
Horror.
Sports movie.
Damn.
It's The Longest Yard.
What?
Yeah. They say a lot of things in that film that are like,
Okay,
I'm like, that could definitely be something like horrifying.
Wait, this is an amazing game. Okay.
What are you waiting for?
Horror.
Horror film. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yep. Julie James, the famous spinning around. And, what are you waiting for?
Oh, my shit. I was going to just spin.
You're 1 and 1.
You're
1 and 1. Okay. Nobody trusts anybody now. And we're all very tired.
Horror.
Do you know what film it's from?
I feel like I know it, but I don't. No, I don't. I can't say
It's The Thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely the scene where everyone's like, all right, we made it through this. Maybe one person died. We got to reconvene.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly where it comes from. And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Sports.
Yes. Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's creepy, but, you know, creepy but a fun guy. All right, last one. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family.
Can you deliver it one more time, just with a little more intensity?
I killed my brother.
No, like more, even, like.
I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family.
Horror.
Remember the Titans. Sports.
Damn.
You did pretty good. Did pretty good.
But that was a good adjustment.
I am proud of you. So, last question for you. I am with an outlet called Nerdist, and at Nerdist, we always encourage people to fan out and nerd out about things that they absolutely love. So, I want to ask you, Justin Tipping, what do you nerd out about?
Right now,
Yeah.
I nerd out about propagating succulents.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a gardening person, so.
It's a new thing that I'm entering.
You're in your garden guy area.
I'm in
like
the area.
Yeah, get you some pots, some
But
herbs and
succulents
everything.
specifically. Jade.
Cool.
Snip. Plant a new one.
Gardening is a very nerdy thing. Like, and I say that as both a just general nerd and a garden nerd. So
Yeah.
we have to exchange tips.
I'm starting to get it. Now I'm like, oh, you can like ferment your own like water with different things to feed the soil. I'm about to start buying worms.
Some banana water, and then you can
I'm
get
about
some
to buy some
calcium in
worms.
your soil.
Yes.
Get you some worms too.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it, and I can't wait for people to go out and see him and enjoy it.
Shout out my nerds.